recording this Zoom. So if you want to stay anonymous, you need to turn off your video. You just click on the stop video. You can also change your name by doing a rename. Click your name. You see your name in there. Click that and change it to something else. The reason I'm recording it is so that I can put this in a place where it's in a shareable format and everyone can see it again. Would everyone please mute? It's not presenting. I can do that, but I'm not fast. Your guys are faster than I am. You guys are so much faster than I am. I still hear a background noise. Okay, all right. So what's going to happen is after the meeting, I will be sending the materials that I'm going to be presenting and whatever follow-up that Maria provides to us, depending on she's our guest star. I know we have a guest star today, so those will be followed up to the emails that I received RSVPs from. Okay. And I'm going to turn it over, and I need to apologize to Maria because I have been saying that she's in Portugal and she's actually in Spain. She says that she can look out onto the Portuguese, which is where I walked through her town. I actually walked by this lady's house a couple of years ago. Anyway, Maria, it's all up to you. Here you go.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so I'll introduce myself briefly. Well, yeah, my name is Maria, you know that. I am actually from here. The name of the town is Pontevedra. As Sharon said, it's on the Portuguese Camino. It's kind of, 3 days from Santiago, I think, yeah. And well, I'm from here, but I lived in Ireland for 15 years. And that's kind of where the seed for what I'm doing now got started, because, well, I'm a Spanish teacher. I've been teaching for, I don't know, probably close to 20 years now. And so I was teaching Spanish in Ireland. And especially in the last years, I noticed a lot of people that were coming that joined the courses, and their motivation was the Camino. Either they had done a Camino and they felt frustrated because at some point during the time in Spain, they needed to communicate and there was nobody around who spoke English. They didn't speak any Spanish, and that was like stressful, frustrating. So they said, okay, we're going back to the Camino. So before we go back, let's learn some Spanish. So that was a group of people, and there were others who were planning their first Camino and they wanted to learn. So I was like, okay, that's that's interesting. And then I moved back to Spain, back home, because I was born here. And before I left, this Camino wasn't that popular. So like growing up, I don't remember seeing pilgrims walking by. I don't remember, there were no yellow arrows, nothing. And then when I came back a few years ago from Ireland, then like it was completely different. I could see pilgrims every day. The place is all, full of arrow shells, it's quite well marked. So that idea that was planted in Ireland about, maybe I should do something specific about the Camino. So that kind of came back to me. So I'm still teaching Spanish. I now pretty much just teach online, because here where I live, there are not so many people who need to learn Spanish who live here. I mean, so I teach basically online. And so I had this idea to just create something that was specific for pilgrims. So I started this blog, which is called Spanish for the Camino. And so in every post, well, you can find sometimes maybe useful information about the Camino, about the different Caminos, about, I don't know, food, different topics that you might, need during the pilgrimage. And all the posts include a few Spanish words or phrases that you may need and this was quite important to me, with the audio, so you can listen to them and know how to pronounce them. Because I have an issue with the useful phrase lists. I never found them useful because I never knew how to pronounce those words. They're in a foreign language, so I have no idea of how that language works. So I see a list and I don't know how to pronounce this. If I try, nobody's going to understand me. Someone speaks back to me, I'm not going to recognize these words, these phrases. So that's why all the posts, apart from the words and the meaning or the phrases, there's always also the audio, so that you can listen and you know how to pronounce. So yes, I was doing recently some sessions for the Camino Cafe. I don't know if you're familiar with it. They have a YouTube channel, podcast, Facebook page. So they've been doing a lot of interviews with pilgrims, and they asked me if I would do some Spanish sessions. And Lily and Sharon came to one of these sessions because they thought, I suppose, it might be interesting for you guys. And that's why I'm here today. So basically, I mean, if you are interested in Spanish, I don't know if any of you has any Spanish at all. Most people, they don't really, or if you do things like, I don't know, like Duolingo, which is quite popular. The problem with that is that sometimes the things you learn, they're not particularly useful for the Camino. So
Maria, we
yeah.
are less than 100 kilometers from Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a lot of Spanish in
Yeah.
our normal day-to-day life, but it's not Camino oriented and it's not Spain Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very different accent and a very different vocabulary. So we can get by at the hot dog stand, but
yeah, that's one of the problems, because things like well, in your case that you're close to Mexico, but in general, like people, if they're using things like Duolingo or other apps, I mean, it doesn't have to be Duolingo, you might not necessarily be learning the things that you're going to need for the Camino. So what I do, I've also created this kind of small collection of workbooks. So each is based on a topic that you will need. And actually, so tomorrow I will send you and you can share it with everybody, the first workbook, so you can see what's in there, how they work. So I would say each workbook is kind of equivalent to between 2 and 3 lessons, like more or less, the content that gets into each workbook. So this is all basic, like at least the most basic stuff that you will need on a day-to-day basis. Things like greetings, asking questions about different things, accommodation, you know, if you need to call a place to book accommodation or ask questions about the accommodation, food, how to order food, how, you know, what the different foods mean, what kind of foods you can find in each, you know, because sometimes, especially for instance with like the eating times, you know, they're different. So you might go out and, oh, I'm going to have dinner, and you find out that everywhere is closed, and you're like, why can I not have dinner? Okay, because, you know, we don't have dinner at this time in Spain. So it includes also not just the language, but cultural things like that that are, you know, handy tips to know, just to, you know, survive, let's say, in Spain, or survive better, you know. Yeah, I mean, if you were interested in doing some lessons, we could do them around those topics, so that you would have, you know, get the chance to learn all this vocabulary. You will get the chance to practice before you get there, and, you know, you can feel confident that you're saying things, because sometimes also if you're learning by yourself, you're not sure if you're pronouncing things right, if when you get to Spain, are people going to understand what I'm saying? So this way you can be sure that you will be understood, that the Spanish you're learning is specific. Yeah, it's not like Sharon said, you know, it's not like maybe some vocabulary that is used in Mexico, but not in Spain, and all of that. And I don't know, I mean, if you have any questions, maybe, yeah, that's a good idea. If you have any questions for me now, I'm just happy. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, and if you guys have any questions, ask them directly.
Yeah.
If you have, Maria, you send information to us, or to Old Pueblo, or, you know, or to Lily or I, whatever, and we will forward it on to, we will connect, and we will do what we can to get you guys together. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That was the whole intention here, is to link you if you're interested in what Maria's offering. Okay. So questions.
Hi, this is Ingrid. How are you doing?
Hi.
How often do you propose to have these sessions or classes? Would it be a one-on-one, or would it be a group session?
I mean, that's up to you. If you can form a small group. I mean, I wouldn't do like a group like now that we have like 16, 17 people here. I wouldn't do for a class, especially on Zoom, such a big group, but small group would be fine. If you prefer to do one-on-one, that would be possible too.
Okay.
The Puget Sound group that Lily and I audited, it was 4 people. 5.
Yeah, I mean, more people had signed up. Some of them never showed up even for the first session. So the ones that were attending regularly, yeah, were like 4. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe 4 to 6 or 4 to 8.
Yeah, something like that would be perfect, because it's you get the chance to practice with each other, not just with me, and it's not too big that, you know, you don't get time within the session to practice. So yeah, something like that would be perfect.
How long are your sessions usually? An hour, hour and a half?
Yeah, an hour, yes.
An hour. How often do you hold them?
Sorry?
How often? Once a week, twice a week?
I mean, that would depend a bit. I mean, all of these details we could, you know, they're quite flexible. Most people prefer once a week. I think, yeah, once a week is fine. I probably wouldn't do more than once a week. Some people prefer once every 2 weeks. Now, if you're doing every 2 weeks, it's even more important that you do something, that you work on it between sessions. Otherwise, you will forget everything. And when we have the next session, we kind of have to start from scratch again. So if you're committed to doing a bit of work in between sessions, otherwise once a week is probably okay.
If we form a group, we would schedule a Zoom through the chapter's Zoom account to support you guys. We're committed to doing that. Okay. I'm sorry, Lily, you had something to say?
Yeah, I was just thinking, well, the one thing that I wanted to say in reference to what you were talking about, Maria, you know, that this is Camino related as opposed to Mexico related. And my Spanish, my comprehension and my communication is pretty passable when I'm there, but I struggled with the accent because I'm used to the Mexican accent. So to me, learning from you is invaluable because you get the ear for when you're on Camino.
Yeah, that's important. Yeah,
that's number one. And the other thought that I had when you were just talking about how many sessions, like once a week, but if it was 2 weeks, that would be stretching it, and you'd have to get together, or you'd have to practice in between so you don't forget from 1 week to 2 weeks later. There's also, if it's a small group of people that are very committed, they could get together amongst themselves in between, whether it's
of course, by all means,
and then be prepared for your next class. They can, you know, gather amongst themselves and then be ready for you.
That would be
that's ideal, right?
Yeah.
I will tell you that I speak passable Camino. But in my volunteer work with pilgrims, I was I wasn't too excited about the food that I ate when I was on Camino, but every pilgrim I know that is fluent in Spanish raved about the food. So I'm not sure what the difference is. Maybe they know how to order that I didn't know.
I mean, I don't know where you were eating. If you were having the pilgrim's menu, that's probably not the best. I would go and eat where the Spanish people eat, not the pilgrim's menu.
That's what, it's an incentive. I think from my experience, I believe that you would eat better on Camino if you had that good Spanish.
Yeah.
So I think Marcella.
I do. I have a question.
Sharon, go ahead, Marcella. Sorry.
I was just wondering if it is possible, Maria, to go on your website and just kind of, because our schedule is really weird, and I mean, to be able to be doing this today is not our norm. So that this is wonderful. But I'm wondering if it is possible to go on your website and the Spanish for the Camino and sign up for individual lessons, or if that would be is that how one signs up for your lessons?
You can do that. Yeah. I mean, I can put the link to the website in the chat if you want.
Oh, that'd be great.
That would be good. That would be excellent.
Let me, hold on, give me a second. I'll share the link in the chat, and that way also you can have a look at the blog. I mean, there's a lot of content in there that you can get.
I just have a question. How long in advance for the person to prepare to do like the session to learn something about Spanish? For example, if I plan to do El Camino walk in 6 months, should I start to attend the session and get something? So maybe you have something to recommend that. For example, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends a bit also on you. Like, obviously, the more you learn, the more beneficial it will be to your whole experience. You know, the more you will be able to interact with, you know, not just with other pilgrims, but with local people, and, you know, have a different experience than if you don't speak any Spanish at all. The thing is, let's say if you do a few sessions now and you're not going to walk until like in 6 months time, it would be important for you to keep doing something by yourself, if you either that or leave your lessons for when it's closer to the time, because if you do lessons now and then you don't look at your Spanish again for 6 months, you will forget. I mean, the thing with languages, it's just practice, being consistent and trying to, I mean, the thing is, I think a lot of people think or have this idea that you kind of need to maybe study for an hour every day. You don't. It's better if you can find even 5 minutes, but every day, you know, or 10 minutes.
You know, I have people who are from Mexico be around me every day, but we don't really speak Spanish, you know.
Yeah, but
That's on you.
it would be great if you could, you know, if you have the people around you that, although as we mentioned, okay, the accent is not the same, but at least just to keep the Spanish going, you know, if you, let's say you take some lessons now, and between now and the time you actually travel to Spain, just to keep, you know, keep it going. Don't, because if you don't look at your Spanish again, you will forget. If you keep practicing, even if it's 5 minutes every day, and yeah, today you have a little chat with one of these people, or the next day maybe you watch something, some video program, something in Spanish, even if you don't understand everything, or you listen to, I don't know, a podcast in Spanish, or to some music in Spanish, or you, I don't know, try to read the paper in Spanish. It doesn't have to be, you know, it does. When I say practice every day, I don't mean that you have to sit down and do, like, I don't know, grammar exercises or something like that, okay? It's just getting exposure to the language. That's what's important. So if you think you can keep the exposure up, it doesn't really matter when you take your lessons. If you think you're not going to do it, maybe leave it till it's closer to the time that you're going to travel.
I think we're kind of running. We need to kind of close this up. Maria has put her website on the chat. You can capture that, do a little more research. If you're interested in the possibility of doing a joint class, a group class through us, just email us. We had a couple of people from the previous mailing that did respond positively. Just reconfirm that, please, now that you've heard Maria. And I think we will, if you're okay, Maria, we will go ahead and move on.
Mm-hmm.
To go to bed.
Yeah. Okay.
And we'll be in touch. Okay.
Thank you,
Okay,
Maria.
well, thank you for having me here.
Thanks for staying up.
And,
thank you. We appreciate it.
Yeah, and I'll send you that tomorrow. Well, tomorrow anyway.
Thank you, Maria.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. I think about it and discern whether this is something you want to go forward with. I think Lily and I've actually joked around about having a 10 minutes of every joint event that we have that's Spanish only. Oh, look at Marcella. I saw that. I saw that. You thought I didn't see that, Marcella, but I did. Okay, I am going to, the next thing on the agenda, I'm not going to share the screen at this point. We're going to go through the big events that are coming up. You're going to have to stay with me. I will talk to you about this here in a minute. But the next big thing we've got coming up is our cooking event. Lily, you're on.
So I don't see my partner in crime, Kim, online with us, but she and I are going to do our maiden voyage of a cooking demo on the 27th of June at 2 p.m. And we're inviting you to come and have some fun with us. What I'm going to do is whoever responds, through the RSVP, a few days, or I'll give maybe 5 days beforehand, I'll send out everybody an email with a list of ingredients that you need for the recipes that we're going to make. We're going to make two things. We're going to make the torta de papas, which is potatoes. Everything being that it's the first one that we're doing, we're keeping it simple. And we recommend that everybody have a bottle of wine or whatever your drink of choice is, because we plan on having, this is going to be fun. It's not going to be a technical thing. We're doing this in all good fun. And in the end, we're going to have something to eat. Anyway, I hope you will come. We'll send the ingredients so you'll have it. And if you do join us, try to be on time, because unlike the meeting where you might be able to catch up with the recipe, you won't be able to, unless you know what you're doing.
Lily, are you going to, are we good with the list of ingredients? You're going to mail out the recipe also?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And the other thing, we're going to do the Santiago cake, the traditional cake that they have. Well, not in every region. I can't remember where the Santiago cake comes from, which region. I remember eating it. I just don't remember where I was.
I have a friend from upstate New York who learned it as Basque cake. That's
Okay.
how it was always described to her. And she goes, "Oh, it has another name."
It's
Okay.
very simple. The recipes are simple, and it'll be fun. But don't forget your wine. Anybody have any questions? Gail?
Lily, what was the first dish that you said you were going to make?
Torta de papas. It's like a potato torta.
It's the frittata.
Oh, the frittata.
Tortilla?
Yeah,
The
okay.
tortilla?
With the eggs? I mean, the thing that I lived
Eggs
on?
and potatoes, yes.
Spanish tortilla?
May I offer just one piece of information to anybody who's going to do this because of my experience? Make sure when you're in a restaurant, if you want to order that you order a porción, a portion. Order, we'll get a 10-inch frittata. And
See, and that's
Sorry.
what Maria would teach you.
Yeah.
Porción.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Oh,
Okay.
Lily,
Yeah.
would it be possible for you to send the list of ingredients out a little more advanced than
Sure, I'll do it a week before.
Just- I have to drive an hour to get groceries, and I'd just like to not have to necessarily go shopping in that 5-day period.
Sure. Oh, is a week enough time?
Week would be great. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. So in July, we're only going to have 2 events in July. We'll have the book club on July 11th, and then St. James Day. And St. James Day, I mentioned it in this latest mailing. We'll very, very easygoing. We have at the cathedral, St. Augustine Cathedral downtown. I am inviting you to 10 o'clock mass with me. Officially, it's not a chapter event. We are a secular group. We are, a secular, non-religious group, but I can invite you to join me. And 2 years ago we did this, and I invited my pilgrims, and we all came as pilgrims with our hats and our sticks and our backpacks. And I was quite amazed at, were you there, Gail? I was amazed. Herbert was here. Yes, Herbert is the reason why we met up with Josue, one of our beloved pilgrims. But it was quite, and this will be a Sunday morning, so it will be a bigger present. Hopefully you will show up and you will enjoy. Father Alan, who is the new pastor of the parish there at St. Augustine Cathedral, gave us a pilgrim blessing last year. A very small number of us walked to San Javier, mostly on the day of the traditional pilgrimage to Magdalena, which is October 4th. We did that in honor, to try to honor some of the dead from COVID. Okay, so anyway, he gave us a pilgrim blessing that just brought tears to my eyes. I mean, it was just,
It was very, very moving.
it was,
And I'm not a Christian, but I was moved.
So it was, I have arranged with him, he will be giving us a blessing that day. I'm not sure whether it's likely to be after Mass, so around the 11 o'clock hour. I won't know until a little bit later on, but he will be doing that. He will be repeating that for us. And then we just walk across the street to the new hotel at the convention center, the DoubleTree. They have a lovely restaurant with a nice big patio with umbrellas, and we can sit out, we can have drinks and noshes, and we can do a little bit of a St. James thing. I am not comfortable having a large group of people, even if you're vaccinated and you're safe, people. I love you. And because I love you, I'm not willing to go into a closed space with you. So I'm looking, we're still operating in the outdoor world. There's Foster. Foster's a new coordinator. Yay, Foster. So St. James Day. We have, what is this note on my, we have, so the RSVP.
Sorry, the date for St. James, that St. James Day
July
event?
27th or
Thank you.
25th. Hang on.
Sunday.
July 25th. The RSVP that I'm asking for is for the restaurant. The Catholic Church doesn't want you to RSVP for Mass, so. The next big event that we have on the schedule is a pilgrimage from St. Augustine Cathedral to the Mission. It's about 10 miles. We have not done this as a larger group. We've done it as a very small group. And I think it's a powerful thing. I would like to be able to schedule this on October 4th, which is when the Magdalena pilgrimage, the traditional pilgrimage into the city of Magdalena is held, but the weather is just a little too dicey at that time of the year. And I'm saying that as a I actually had 911. I had to have a 911 call when we did it on that day last year. So I don't want to put you guys at risk. So we're doing it a little later, and I'm scheduling that for November 20th. You'll hear more about that. This is going to be a fairly big deal. Our holiday party, December 11th. This is going to be a hoot. We're doing this at the Molino Basin Campground, which means that you can come, you can spend the whole weekend, you just can't spend it with us. There's about 83 sites in that whole campground. We will have the group campsite for Saturday night. The party will be the Saturday evening. We will be pulling out Sunday morning, but you guys can come and stay. Once again, it's outside. It has a fire pit. I think there's been talk about marshmallow roasting. And they have big grills with for chicken and vegetables. It's I think it's going to be pretty good. You'll hear more about that. I'm just giving you the dates so that you can anticipate.
Can I just say one thing? There's only a few spaces for people to put a tent in the immediate area.
Most of those are taken.
Okay, they're all taken already?
Not
Okay.
all, they've all been offered out. Only
Okay.
one or two I haven't gotten an answer from.
Okay.
So
So
sorry.
then
Never mind.
there's other campgrounds.
Yeah, all
Nearby.
this is in the middle of the campsite. We have the group campsite. There's space for 17 cars or trailers. There's no water, but it's a lovely place. We've camped there several times. Let's see, what's next? The next one, I've got a shell ceremony on February 13th. If you are planning on walking, you're a new pilgrim and you're planning on walking in the fall, and you have not gone through the shell ceremony, let us know ASAP. We will schedule something where we can provide you with the group's blessing and a shell. Okay. Otherwise, we'll wait until the 13th. On February 26th, we are scheduled for the albergue weekend in Clifton, and you're on, Dave.
It's actually the 25th.
Oh.
Which is a Friday. And we've done this before. We've done it at the very same place. It's the Blue Door, which is a 1912 church that has been converted into a B&B. And it is owned by a woman by the name of Kimberly Henderson, who is a member of our chapter and is an experienced pilgrim. And when she came home from her walk, I guess nearly 3 years ago now, she called me up and she says, "My God, Dave, I own an albergue." And so since then, we've had a couple events over there, and they've always been a great deal of fun. We have lodging. She has adequate beds for a significant number of people. There's areas to sleep in the open space if you brought a cot or what have you, or sleep on the stage of the old church vestibule. But there are adequate bathrooms. She has a commercial kitchen, so we do our own food prep and cooking. There's a wonderful river that runs through the town with a perennial river flow. And there's a trail that follows the river about 6 miles up out of town that we normally walk. So that there's hiking, there's a lot of scenic activity in the town, as well as the pilgrim interaction and the sharing. So it's always been well received. And I know Lily's been, Foster's been, I know a number of other folks have that aren't on this, and we always have a great time. The first year we went, we had, I think, 26 people, and everyone just had a ball. So plan on it, and there'll be more coming out.
Okay, we're going to go to share screen, so be tolerant. I'm doing the best I can. What you're seeing, are you seeing our logo at the top?
Yes.
Thank you, Dave. So this is a little piece of paper that I've been I keep publishing during this year on the status of the Camino. And so we're gonna, this is pretty good. What we're gonna do is we're actually gonna walk through this, because I don't feel like you guys are really believing me that this is really good information. First, we're gonna go to the mothership, as I lovingly call her, American Pilgrims on the Camino, and see what they have to say. So this is the homepage. You will find right down here. Okay, and I am not logged in as a member right now. I am I am a civilian. And the webmasters keep this very, very, very well up to date with all pertinent information. It talks a little bit about what we do as an organization, but most importantly, this is solid. This is not rumor, what is put in these news announcements. This is in fact, okay? Let's go to the next one. Okay, I know I've talked to you guys. I've said many times, I've talked about Ivers Forum. And once again, I'm not logged in here. When I walked the Camino, this was the only source of information I used. This is where I learned about Brierley. What I'm going to do is somebody, I think it was you, Martha. Are you guys watching me here? Members only, ignore that. Getting started on a Camino, pilgrim topics for all routes. You want to hear about, you want to talk, you want to find out what's going on camping. Now, the thing about Ivers Forum is that there are tens of thousands of pilgrims from all over the world. This is English speaking. And if you've walked the Camino already, you know that there's a lot of Brits that walk it. There's a lot of English, Brits, Australians. It's a very informed, very generous, very an excellent resource of information. I just cannot say anymore. So, okay, I want to add, okay, Camino Frances. I'm going to click on this one. Martha, you had a question about the Belcarros versus Napoleon, right? I'm going to ask that question of, now we would all tell you that it's a matter of choice, right? It's a matter of yours. Look at this. Look at how many options you've got here. Just wondering, anyone considering the alternate route? So you can go, you don't have to wait for us to answer your question. You can go out to Ivers Forum, and it's a very robust forum. And find out what other people have said, what the tens of thousands of other people have to say. I would really recommend. There is all kinds of information about planning. You can do things like there are resources. Let's see, resources. Do you want to see the profile of the Camino Frances? All the albergues. Now, I need to remind you that all albergues, that's old information. That's static. But the profile map of all 34 stages of the Camino Frances, we all need that, right? We all need to have a little panic attack every now and again. Okay, so spend some time. It's a good place to go. We won't go into the Spanish. I'm going to take you to the homepage. Here is the answer. We know that things are clearing up because what? Okay, hang on just a second. Okay. All right. So this is an EU website. You see that they have apps for this. Reopen space EU. These are applications I've downloaded. It's on my phone right now, but this is the desktop site. I actually went out to see what it said about going from the rest of the world to Spain. Your origins. Most of this has to do with the EU. Remember, the EU is an umbrella. And the different countries have different needs and different regulations. What Spain, Italy, and Greece have done is they have accelerated their opening. So because they are at more economically, the Caminos are more economically central to their well-being. So what it says is that basically here is that you need to do something called go through their travel safe site. But essentially, right now, we are on the list of risky countries. The next version of that list will be published on the 20th. We are likely to be off that list on that next republishing, which means that we will have a different set of regulations. I am planning on going on Camino at the end of September. I'm not paying any attention to this right now for me personally, because I know the rules are going to be changing. But anyway, this is a good site. The EU has decided this is how they're going to do it. Basically, it says, and this has been confirmed by the Pilgrim, the Tucson Pilgrim that I heard from this morning, that he was checked. His international flight started in Dallas. In Dallas, he was asked to present his original COVID vaccine card. He had as a backup a negative PCR test that had been taken within 72 hours of the time that the plane took off. He also got an antigen test just in case. That's how he boarded the plane in Dallas to go to Paris. Paris is more restricted right now than Spain is. But he was able to get in. He's in Paris right now. He's planning on going to Saint-Jean in a couple of days. I expect, he promised me a text when he gets there, when he crosses the border. I've heard that the border is quite smooth. I'm going to go ahead and click this travel safe, which is Spain. This is Spanish only. Now, if you're planning to go this summer and planning on just going in and out of Spain, this is all you have to do. Basically, this is a process by which you get a QR code, that infamous QR code they've been talking about. It's slow as, yeah. Okay. The EU's answer is still thinking, isn't it? It's still thinking. The EU's QR code application and process and will be rolling out on July 1. And I expect it to be, you'll be able to find it here, okay, in this EU website. This is important. I would, if you're curious and interested in going, this is where I would go. The Spanish site doesn't seem to be coming up, but it is in the, see, we don't count. They don't have us in any of this. We're rest of the world. Let me go back to my, okay. Right here is the Spanish site. That Spanish site, and you saw how I clicked it inside the reopen the EU. That is, you can actually fill out that form and get a QR code if you're just traveling within Spain. Once the EU's application rolls out, I expect it to act very similarly, and it will act, so you would generate a QR code, and that's just what you flash whenever they ask. Right now, Spain and I don't know about France, but Spain's is still, you still have to mask. That's likely to go away any day. Okay, so anybody got any questions?
Are we,
Yes,
gonna
Gail.
be able to get a copy of that research sheet that is that what you?
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mail that, I'm gonna get the recording. And when I get the recording, I will put that in a Google Drive, so I'll have a shareable link. I will send you the link and I will send you that page.
Thank you.
Absolutely, and it's a live, it's live links. So
Appreciate you sharing that.
absolutely, that Reopen EU, it's like I've been chasing this for months, and all of a sudden they just threw it upside my head and went, here you go. Great, thanks. Okay, let's go back because I'm going to take you through some, whoa, where'd you guys go? Where'd you guys go? Here we go. I need to go back. I need to, I'm gonna go back into share if it ever lets me. Okay. All right, we are going to go back to my little resource sheet. Grons. Okay, so here's the deal, is that all of your books, your Brierleys, all of those books, all of those websites, all of that stuff is no longer pertinent in terms of the details about who is open, who is not open, right? So the Brierley's good for the history, it's good for the route, all right? Where you're going to walk, where you're going to stay, and where you're going to eat, that is very dynamic. Just like here, about 30 to 40% of the small restaurants have gone out of business. About 20 to 25% of the albergues have gone out of business. All of the municipals have closed, are still closed at this right now. It's very variable. Many of the privately held albergues are opening back up, but it's just, it changes from day to day. So don't trust your Brierley. We love him. We've all loved him for as long as we can. But I will show you the Grons. Oh, come on. Let's see if this is going to come up. Spain didn't come up. Grons is an extremely, here we go. Okay. An extremely valuable resource right now because they're very good and they're very current on what's open, what's not open. At the very minimum, they give you a phone number and a website where you can go and do your background. It's got most of the major Caminos on it. You can, here, I'll click on this one, on the Frances. At the bare minimum, you can, and it's, sorry, people, I'm so sorry. The bare minimum, you can check to see to try to determine. The pilgrims that I have chatted with or read have not had any issues getting beds for the night. It's not been overcrowded, but that might change given how many people that seem to be anxious to make a move. Now this is, Grons is a Spanish language website. So your desktop, of course, has better translation capabilities. I've got auto translate back here. That's going to be a little bit tougher on your phone. So you might want to do some advanced research here. But you see that it, let's go to O Celebrio. You can, let's see what's open, what it says is open. It gives you a nice list, okay? This isn't transferable to your phone, but at least you have a name. And you've got something of a location. See, now this is probably current. Grons is a very powerful, and it's dynamic. So I would, if you're thinking about walking now, at least you'll get a sense of what's going on there. let's see, where else are we? Gronds.
Sharon?
All right, yes.
Sure. And all these places listed are considered safe to stay.
Yes, they are open, and because they're open, they have complied with the regulations, which essentially is, I think right now it's 30% of full capacity. At one time it was 50, but I could be wrong there. The translation stuff is difficult. It's 50 to 30% of full capacity. So if you have a room with two bunk beds, right? You can have 2 people, which brings up another point. It's going to be more expensive because in that situation, if that room has 4 rooms available, but only 2 of them can be occupied, you can only expect to pay more. I would very, very much go out to Ivor's forum, or these Facebook resources that I'm going to point you to, and just follow those because they will tell you what to expect. They have Spain lost a very large majority of their people, of their elderly, and they locked down hard. They want to come back. They love us as pilgrims. They love us as people who spend money, and they want to keep their grandparents safe. So they're working hard on that. They're a little behind us on the vaccination front, but they're working on it. So I know that a lot of you are like really down on Facebook. You are in charge of what your Facebook does. You don't have to friend anybody. You can join groups and you can read what's going on. It's a very powerful tool that's used across the world for information flow like ours, okay? One of the most powerful, American Pilgrims is really good. It's mostly Americans, okay? I'm going to take you to one that is largely this American Pilgrims discussion group. You see that right there? CSJ UK, the Confraternity of St. James. Each of the countries that send pilgrims to Spain has a nonprofit organization that works with the Spanish government to try to coordinate. The one in the UK is the Confraternity of St. James. It's the first one. They set the standard. This group right here is primarily moderated by a gentleman who calls himself Johnny Walker Santiago. He lives in Santiago. He's actually the organist for the cathedral. See, here he is this morning. Well, this was anyway. This is a very, very good tool. They moderate this as only the British can do. It's truthful, it's current, it's pertinent. I would highly recommend this resource. Well, I'll take you. Ours is equally, well, I guess eventually I'll figure out how to do this, people. I'm sorry. There we go. Okay, so go to ours. This is us. This is our mothership. Yosmar is our main moderator. She does a great job. It's a good tool. It's a good tool. Yosmar doesn't live in Santiago. In this one, it's worked by John and his pseudonym, and a woman, Sybil Yates, who's an author, and she also lives in Santiago. They work together. Rebecca Scott, who's an author and a retired journalist who lives she doesn't live in Santiago, but she lives on the Camino. She and her husband, they moderate this group also. Powerful resources. Okay, so now then, I want to, if you follow our Facebook at all, you've seen these. Ivor has been doing these once a week. Sorry about this, people, but we don't really want to hear this, and I can't mute it. Can I mute this? I can mute this. Okay. I'm only showing this so that you can see that when you call these up, you can subscribe. So Ivor is the moderator, is the main guy for the forum that we just walked through. He has been giving us a weekly update on the conditions in Santiago. And it's really kind of nice because he takes us on a little walk. He showed us the tour of the bus station. It's kind of nice, you know. He's on the ground. He's current. Now then, I want to take you to these other channels, Facebook channels. This is ours. This is one of the founders of American Pilgrims on the Camino.
What's her name?
Her name is Sandy Lenthal. She just invited friends over, and away they went. But anyway, so subscribe to the channel, and you learn a lot. It's amazing what you learn. Let's see what else I've got. These other chapters in here. The Northern California chapter, they have a wonderful Camino 101. The Boston chapter has a tremendous Le Puy presentation. It's a great rabbit holes to go down, these YouTube channels. What's happened with Zoom this last year as an organization, American Pilgrims has been able to, we've been recording these Zooms and we've been sharing them, or at least these chapters and the national, for everyone to see. They're publicly viewed. So if we're not going to have a Camino, if you want to get the most of the Camino 101, watch the Northern California. It's all the same. So I really recommend that you check those out. Okay, so clearly I spend a lot of time on the internet, and I want to take you down a little rabbit hole here. Okay, this is Lori Ferris. Anybody recognize this? This is Mushia.
Not the German, sure.
We're gonna, I'm gonna show you how to find, if you really want to get lost, okay, if you really want to spend, I mean, it's hot outside. There ain't nothing else to do, right? American Pilgrims, all the different chapters. Now, every chapter is a little different, but Northern California is very active. Okay, so this is not rocket science. So it tells about them. It shows them. Oh my gosh, look at these resources. These are all videos that Lori Ferris, the founder and keeper of the Camino Provides blog and Etsy shop, just saying, has created and put out there. So this right here is her blog, which I brought up. Okay, so there's a lot of places. I'm sorry, what?
That's San Sebastian.
Yes, yeah. So I just wanted you to see there's a lot of places you can get caught up and you can get good quality information. I would highly recommend that you don't think about or worry about the rumors or what, people were saying, well, 72 hours. Well, when does the 72 hours start on this test? When does it expire? When are they going to kick me out and make me get on a plane to come home? And I didn't know that until today. And I now know it made sense, but I wanted to hear it for a fact. So I'm going to send this information to you guys. I'll send this form to you. Are there any questions?
You gave us all the answers before we could ask.
So we're going, I'm going on a 10-day walk on the Lapui. I'm going to have at least one man with me, maybe two, it depends. Foster's two, Foster's in. Okay, so we will be able to report back. We may be able to organize a little bit of a Zoom meeting and we can do some real-time discussion. Oh, I forgot. We have a couple of pilgrims, local pilgrims that are walking the California Mission Trail. Right now, they've just started. We're hoping to get them. They have promised to do a presentation for us. So we don't have that date and time. They haven't finished it. Technically, they don't feel like they've started. So, but we're working it. Where are we at? Is there anything we can do for you guys?
Hi, it's Ingrid. How you doing? I'm
I'm good. I'm good. How's your trip going? You look like you're at work.
I'm in New Hampshire.
Okay, I see like, it looks like an office ceiling.
No, it's actually an Airbnb. That's actually quite comfortable and it's a lower level. So
What's the temperature there? I've got to ask.
it's probably like 75, 80. Very comfortable hiking weather. I went for a nice hike this morning. It was awesome. And then a little bit of canoeing,
Good for you.
Yes, it was good.
113 here.
Keep it there. I just want to let you know, I just booked a flight to Porto. We're going to do the Camino, the Portuguese from Tui to Santiago, the end of September, beginning of October.
Very nice.
Yeah.
If you're interested in a Compostela and you only want to walk the minimum distance, that's the one to, that's in my mind the one to do.
Yeah, you had suggested it, and I have a friend with me, she doesn't hike as much as I do, so I figured that one was doable.
It's easy, and I think it's a prettier route. It's certainly, even in the worst of times, it's more, in the busiest of times, it's less crowded than Sarria into Santiago.
So I'm hoping it's going to be a great experience for the first one, and I think I need to make an appointment to get my shell, I guess.
Okay, well, just email me so I'll remember. Deb, you.
Yes, ma'am.
You guys, so Ingrid and her friend are walking the Portuguese. They're walking from Tui in. And that's been my go-to for that last 100-kilometer Compostela walk lately. You've done both sides. You've done the Frances and the Tui, right?
We started in Porto for the Portuguese.
Yeah, so that's Ingrid's plan, no, she's flying into Porto. But it's very nice.
And we did, Ingrid, which route are you going to do?
It's the Portuguese route. It's from Tui to Santiago.
From Tui. She's walking from Tui. There's only one route from there.
There's only one route from Tui. You're right. Yeah.
All your options are previous.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, I get that.
Anyway, so send me an email, please, or send us an email, please, Ingrid, and we'll work it out. Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
Yes, Gail.
I just want to mention from Tui to Santiago, there is the variante.
Spiritual
variant, which is actually really beautiful and lovely. It's not very popular, or at least it wasn't 2 years ago. And it was quite spectacular. And there's a wonderful book about it by a man named Roy Pritchard, I think it is. The Stone and Water Route, that's what it's called.
I have a copy of it, Ingrid, if you want to borrow it.
Sure.
And it's a wonderful little variation. You take the boat up from Villanova de Arusa to Padrón and then continue walking from there. But it's
Oh, wow.
all official as part of the 100 kilometers.
That sounds amazing to take the boat.
Yeah,
It-
yeah.
it is-
You have to,
well,
yeah.
Before you get on the boat, the route, the Stone and Water route is just, it's really lovely.
Okay.
Really.
What's
Much
really interesting, Ingrid, is that you're walking you're walking on Roman highways.
Ooh.
You know, with you see these insignias and it says 19.
Mhm.
I didn't know that the Romans had that many highways. But yeah, there's the Portuguese. There's actually still Roman roads that you're walking on.
Cool.
It's quite interesting.
Would this route be the one, a coastal route, or no, the inland route?
There'll be-
We did the inland. We
Would
saw
be-
it on.
What do
and,
they call the coastal route on the Portuguese?
what?
The coastal route on the
That's
Portuguese?
before Tui, I think.
Again?
That's
It is-
before Tui.
Yeah,
That's
Before.
before Tui.
before.
The main bridge is in Tui, and that crosses over from Portugal into Spain.
Right.
Someone asked about the name of the book.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Thank you.
I see it. Thank
Stone
you.
and Water Route. Yeah.
Thank you for all the help.
Anything else? Are we good? Are we good? Anybody have anything to say?
Hi, I'm new here. My name is Ajahn Sarayut. I'm a Buddhist monk. I have been living in Tucson for over 21 years. Yeah, I'm originally from Thailand, but in recent year, I plan to do El Camino walk. You know, so I got the inspiration from seeing someone video, and I don't know that it just come to me that I have to do this walk. You know, yeah. I have been in India for 3 times. Yeah, I would like to do a pilgrimage walk to India, but it's not quite safe and well support like El Camino walk, as I know. Yeah, so I'm preparing myself for the walk. Hopefully, if things get better with the pandemic, I plan to do sometime in May or June, July next year. Yeah, and I'm planning. One thing that I would like to ask is what size of the backpack that if someone plan to do, because I hike a lot, so I would like to prepare what I put in my bag and then go on my hiking and see how it feels. Is anyone have any suggestion?
I can tell you that those videos that the YouTube resources that I mentioned, they talk about Camino planning or the planning. That might be helpful, but my pack, we won't talk about my pack. But Dave, DPS, what was the size of your pack?
I had a 42-liter pack, an Osprey, and it was an excellent bag. In fact, I'll use it again. 42-liter.
And REI can help fit you if you go there in person. They can ask you for your frame to make sure that it hits you right on the shoulders and that you're carrying the weight on your hips, not up on your waist. And I think that's critical. That will help prevent injury, I think, if you have somebody that does it for a living to help fit your frame, your body frame.
You definitely need to go to Summit Hut or REI
Yes,
to
Summit
get
Hut.
it.
I just got my backpack from IEI.
Mhm.
And I got 55 II backpack,
Yeah.
55 flash, I think, yeah.
Well, I can tell you that I walked my Caminos with a 65 liter.
Uh-huh.
I didn't fill it. I didn't fill it. And
Yes.
that's the struggle is that just because it's got the room, you don't have to fill it. I wanted to, if I was going to spend that kind of money on a backpack, I wanted to have a backpack that I only wanted to buy one really good backpack. And so, yeah, it worked. That's why I didn't start the conversation, because most people go 40s, 50s, 60s. Yeah. Anyway, Gail.
Okay.
One of the advice that I felt for me was really meaningful was to, I wanted something that would fit in an overhead bin because I didn't want to risk losing my luggage and then have the whole.
Sharon.
I did lose my backpack once.
Yeah, that means 22 by 14 by whatever the size is for carry-on overhead bin luggage. And I bought a 35-liter Osprey, and I was gone for 3 weeks, and it was great. I was happy.
I would,
Not to carry kind of your body weight, and I think that's another thing that's important to think about in terms of your own body safety, into knees and hips and feet and all of that. So those are just two parameters to consider that made sense to me.
I would just say this, Gail's point is excellent, and the 42-liter one will fit in the overhead thing, slid all the way, not sideways, but the other way. It will fit in an overhead bin. It's as big as you can get. That door will shut, but a 42-liter will fit if you need just a little more space.
Okay.
And you don't want to check your backpack.
No.
It's a long story. That's a long, yeah. It almost ruined my Portuguese. I tried really hard at losing my pack. The one thing is that I highly recommend that you walk with poles. You cannot take your poles on the plane. They have to be checked. People have gotten through it. But I have had a lot of people tell me, oh, it worked, but then it didn't. They got them to Spain and they walked, and then they were confiscated on the way home. So if your walking sticks are precious to you, figure out an alternative way. I'm just saying. It depends on how important they are to you.
I use collapsible ones, and I've never had a problem because they fit in the bag. Now, some people may not like the collapsible ones, but you could, if you wanted to, you could actually.
Mine collapse too, but
it depends on, yeah, okay. That could fall apart, but both times.
Your personal TSA agent.
They're every single, as you know, every single one is different.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you very much.
But you can always ask for a supervisor too.
Yeah.
At the TSA, and that's just be nice about it, and you're right.
I've had more confiscation stories coming from Spain or from Europe. Back
Foreign
to
countries. Yeah, I'm not talking about
not our people.
Yeah.
But from the
exactly. I had to check them because I was going to Ireland from wherever I was in Spain or Portugal. I don't remember. But yeah, then it's a different story.
Yeah.
And what you need to remember too is that, especially if you're taking the Francés, you can buy whatever you need. There's plenty of places to get things if you forget something, or if you just decide, no, I don't want to take this because it's too much, adding too much weight, and then you get there and you need it, you can buy it. Whatever, whether it's a toiletry, whether it's poles, or just
poncho.
That's a really important point.
Yeah.
And learned it.
You can buy shampoo in Spain.
Right.
I have proven travel size, if you're walking the Francés, travel size will get you 10 days.
Mhm.
The Francés is a 33-day adventure. So, you know, just think about that. And in those little hamlets, they don't sell travel. You're buying regular and you're leaving the rest of it behind. So just, you know, think about, this is not a sprint, you know?
I would say this, that 35 euro poncho that you buy in St. John or even Pamplona will cost you 6 euros in Santiago.
Yes.
The only reason I bought
I
one
always,
But do you want to wait till you get to Santiago?
well, I always thought that there was a great business opportunity for collecting all of the things that pilgrims leave at the airport and the albergues in Santiago and shipping them back to Saint Jean, right? You know, okay, let's just gather all this stuff up, because people leave their sticks, they leave their ponchos, they leave their, I left a sleeping bag in Santiago because I bought some clothes and I needed room. But anyway, are we done for now, people?
Thank you very much. Mhm.
It was lovely meeting you and seeing your faces. It's nice to see smiles. We're hoping maybe by the end of the year, at minimum, we will be able to have meetings again, in-person meetings. But put that Christmas party on your calendar, okay? December 11th.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye,
Thanks for your
everyone.
time.
I'll get this
everybody.
email out the next couple of, tomorrow morning, okay? It was good seeing you,
Okay.
Deb.
Yes,
Buen Camino.
Bye-bye.
bye-bye. Have a good day,
Blessings.
everyone.
Enjoy the cool.
Yeah,
Bye.
favorite.